modern people still want to get married. They just want the dynamic to look differently, and marriage rates are not going up. And so I don't agree at all.
No, I don't like so. And I'm gonna use a person that we see on many of these streams quite a bit. Anna, for example, is to me what I would consider a modern woman.
Who?
That's
Anna,
extremely.
ONNA. No,
Anna?
no. I think she thinks a lot like the 20 somethings actually think. Like I don't want to get. Her thing is she doesn't want to get married. She wants to have a kid and co-parent.
Who? I didn't miss who you said.
Like Anna, ONNA is how you spell her name.
Oh, I don't know who that is. I'm sorry.
She's
But
she's a
but
regular on a few of the shows.
Okay.
and she's not the only one I've heard say that. It was just the most. It was one of the names that I've seen quite a bit. Right? She
I'm the,
she she doesn't want to get married at all. She wants to co-parent, and if they do anything, she wants it 50-50. The
I think
modern man is kind of adjusting to it. And if you listen to what Cheeky, who is a traditionalist, he himself, who is unmarried still, is talks 50-50. Like they're like it's kind of the way they move. I would say they. I mean, I know this is a whole topic for a different for a
I think
different
they
conversation.
don't represent the majority though.
So okay,
Mm,
hang on, because okay, Cheeky and Anna are on two different ends of the spectrum, right? I think Cheeky is young and still establishing himself. And so I think in terms of logic, 50-50 makes more sense for him until I think, I truly believe that once Cheeky is more established, he's going to change his mind about the whole 50-50 thing. Mark my words. Literally, I want each and every single one of you to remember this show. I think when Cheeky is more established, he's going to look for a woman who is more traditional.
well, see, I think I think from what he's seen, I think he's a traditionalist. But the men are adjusting to the women.
No, because
That's what they're doing.
no, Kate, because Cheeky has been open about his age, right?
Hmm.
Cheeky is still under the age of 30, and I think the men on this panel have generally talked about the mindset shift around the age of 30, right? So give Cheeky a
That's
few more
fair.
years,
That's
give
fair.
Cheeky a few more years before we start to understand who Cheeky is going to be as like a fully developed. Not that he's not a developed man, but in terms of like his mentality of the man he's going to be for the rest of his life, give him a few more years, right?
So
My prediction is he's going to be different with Anna, because I think this is really important. Anna, I think it was last week on Trigger Mike's show, said something that was like really profound in terms of like her rhetoric. She has put zero thought into how she was going to think or feel in the future. Anna has said, for me right now, this is how I feel, this is what I'm promoting. Nobody can change my mind, and she has stayed consistent in that. However, Anna in 10 years, because I think women take a little bit longer in terms of realizing who they are going to be for the rest of their lives. I think it'll take Anna a little bit longer to realize the woman that she's going to be for the rest of her life. Does that have consequences? Of course. Does she care about those consequences at this time? She has clearly stated out of her own words she does not care right now, and that if that changes in the future, she's willing to bear the consequences. Right? I think that right now, with social media, with the way that society is promoting certain values and certain aesthetics and certain thought processes, I think it's so right here, right now. Follow that dopamine hit and not necessarily looking towards the future. That I think the young people right now are so focused in right now. We have no idea how things are going to turn out for them in a few years.
and but when we're speaking modern, aren't those the kind of people we're talking? We're not talking about people our age, are we?
I don't know. When I was reading something and it was saying that this generation, like, coming up, is it the Gen Zs, or I don't know which letter it is, but anyway, that they like the whole, like they are delaying, having children out of wedlock. The numbers for them have gone down significantly. So that speaks to kind of what Trigger Mike was saying, is that, the society has a tendency to kind of correct itself. And so we're seeing that part there where they're not having children out of wedlock. The numbers are going down in that regard. The other thing to that too is that they are getting married. The thing though is that they're not getting married at an earlier age. They're delaying marriage for a lot longer. So that's the other issue. I guess they're getting it right and getting it wrong at the same time. They're not having kids, but they're waiting too long to start a family.
How do y'all think the shift in like the manosphere / the cultural shift that's being created and pushed, what percentage of men do y'all think are being affected by what's being said, like the manosphere extended?
Of men?
You saying, do we think the majority of men are being impacted?
Yeah.
So I don't think it's the men. I think it's the boys 17 and under that are going to be impacted by the manosphere. I think at where we are right now, I think the manosphere is full of a bunch of men who have lived long enough to have frustrations with the opposite sex to be vocalizing it. But I think that the younger generation that hasn't had enough experience with the opposite sex, that's taking in all of this information and is disconnected from the world around them, I think that's going to manifest in a really strange way.
And when you add on a layer of lack of social skills, just because of the era that they're in, not knowing how to interact in general, will probably reinforce the idea of what they're hearing online.
The single mothers that turn their children against the father, right? We talk about that manipulation very regularly on the internet. At some point, those children are going to grow up and understand exactly what that manipulation is. And those children are going to opt out of having a relationship with their mother because that community, that culture, that household hasn't existed. And so that's the other long-term side effect that some women have not accounted for. Again, I'm not saying all single mothers are like this. Not all of them are toxic. But the ones that do manipulate the system and the ones that do take advantage of that and do turn their child away from that situation are the ones that are going to be either put in a home or find themselves destitute as well.
Yep, agreed.
Mm-hmm.
That's another reason why I don't like going at the women in our community, especially online. I think that you can clip it and create a narrative and run with it. Like if somebody was doing something nefarious with the information, you can clip this stuff and feed both sides, like through divide and conquer. Take a video of they need to delete all male black babies. Then a video of us saying we don't want y'all ever. The divide just gets larger and larger. Why is it that it's mainstream news that we're not getting along? That's it's not mainstream news that the Asian women and Asian men aren't dating at the same rate that they used to, or that they're why is ours so publicized? I'm just curious. I don't know.
I mean, you know the answer. We're just tired of saying the two words.